Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I'm going to be going over the more than 11 signs that the US slow motion economic collapse is far more advanced than most Americans even believe. And you need to start waking up and pay attention right now, because if you can see this coming, if you know the tools you need to know right now to prepare for this, you'll be okay, while your neighbors will simply be in disbelief and wonder what happened, just like many people were not aware of what was about to happen in 2008. So we definitely have a packed video, and in the second part of it, I'll show you a top ranking silver stock for 2025 in my book, and they are developing a project and have announced that their production cost is projected to be only $9.40 an ounce per silver. That is 43% below the global average, so definitely some big opportunities here. But okay, everyone, without further ado, let's get straight into the news, the facts, and the data. Alright, first things first, what we need to talk about is the housing market in the US. I think we're going to finally start to see the housing market downturn materialize in 2025, because I've got lots of information here to show you that things are not looking good for the housing market. Because most people thought interest rates would plummet back to zero this year, but the Federal Reserve has admitted that inflation is still far too high, and we may be about to see a resurgence of inflation. So look at this. Mortgage demand dies nearly 22% to the end of 2024. And why? Well, it's because mortgage rates are going back above 7%. And home purchase applications fell almost 7% during the holiday period. So look at this. The housing market is heading into 2025 with a worrying supply trend. Active listings in November were 12.1% higher than they were in November 2023, and have hit the highest level since 2020, when home prices were starting to fall during the COVID pandemic. Now, more than half of those homes, however, has sat on the market for at least 60 days without going under a contract of sale. So if things are taking more than 60 days to sell, that means the housing market is starting to get very, very weak. Now, this brings us to our next story, and this is frightening, everyone. Commercial mortgage-backed securities delinquencies spiked to 11%. This blows past the financial crisis peak. Now, in 2008, it was residential mortgage-backed securities that caused the financial crisis, but I think the next financial crisis, especially with the bank system, could be commercial mortgage-backed securities. Because look at this chart. We can see here in 2003 and 2004, the recession. We can see the spike they had there. We can see the financial crisis, the oil bust in 2018 to 2019. But now we are blast past that. And this is only going to get worse in 2025, with a lot of these people renegotiating their mortgages with higher interest rates. And I think we're only just starting to see the real pain with commercial real estate. On top of that, you're seeing a lot of people still continuing to work from home, even though they're desperate to try to get people back in the office. Not because it's more productive, it's simply because they want to save their commercial real estate portfolios. But the most devastating stat that we got for 2024 is really showing how much Americans are struggling out there. So look at this. This is absolutely devastating, everyone. US homelessness surged 18% to record level, report says. Now, why is this happening? It's because we're seeing institutions like Blackstone, like BlackRock, we're seeing private equity. They're coming in, they're buying entire neighborhoods. They're creating a monopoly on the markets in the neighborhoods they're going. They're jacking up rents. Just on top of that, insurance is going up, utilities are going up, groceries are going up, and people are now having to live in their cars. People with full-time jobs, some people even with multiple jobs, but they simply can't afford to pay $2,000 to $3,000 a month in rent. So if that wasn't enough proof to you that showing there's going to be big trouble for the US economy in 2025, here's 11 more reasons why. As we can see in this article here, 11 signs that the slow motion collapse of the US economy is far more advanced than most people think. So let's start with the holidays. Traditionally a time of joy and spending, but this year, only 16% of Americans say they're spending more than they did last year. Meanwhile, 35% are spending less. And inflation is hurting holiday cheer and is shaping up to be on average an even worse season for retailers, which I'll go more in depth in a moment. Now we need to talk about the job market. So the number of job openings has plummeted to its lowest since January 2021, and back then we had a pandemic to blame. But now there is no excuse. With healthcare, government jobs, and more on the decline, the labor market is losing steam. And I've even heard many people unfortunately drop comments in the video saying after these holidays, they don't know if they'll still have a job or not. Number 3, manufacturing. So the Philadelphia Federal Reserve Manufacturing Index has hit a shocking 16.4, and that's a severe drop, much worse than economists predicted, and manufacturing is a backbone of any economy, and this decline is a huge red flag. Number 5, the cost of living crisis is out of the world. Like what we saw with homelessness going up 15%, Bank of America reports nearly a third of US households spend over 95% of their disposable income on necessities like housing, groceries, and utilities. And that leaves almost nothing left for emergencies or savings. So the US is a consumption economy, and they rely a lot on consumer spending. If the consumers don't have money to spend, well, you don't have an economy. Number 6 is utilities are skyrocketing. Because it's not just about food or rent. Almost 25% of American households couldn't pay their full power bill at some point this year. Even worse, 35% had to cut back on essentials just to keep the lights on. Number 7, food banks. Food banks are overwhelmed. Demand has reached record levels even among the working class. These people have jobs, but the paychecks can't cover the basic living costs anymore, and the term working poor has never been more relevant. So that's right, you're seeing people. I've even heard of some people in 6-figure jobs having to go to food banks because of how bad things are getting. Number 8, retailers. We're seeing a retail apocalypse, and they're really starting to feel the pain. Now, Party City has announced it's shutting down all stores, nearly 40 years of business gone, and they're not alone. Big Lots is following suit with 936 stores closing permanently. But that's not all. More than 7,000 stores have announced closures in 2024, and that's a 69% increase in just 1 year. And this isn't just a business issue, it's a symptom of a deeper economic collapse that's underway. Again, if people don't have money to spend, you don't have an economy, and these retailers are dropping like flies. Now, speaking of closures, downtown areas are crumbling. Malls that would be bustling with holiday shoppers are eerily quiet, and outside the streets tells an even darker story filled with homelessness and addiction. Now, that just may sound like a lot of statistics, but these are real people hurting from a failing economy. But you know who's doing better than ever? The 1%. Because look at this chart here. This is the share of corporate equities and mutual funds shares held by the top 1%. Now we can see here, the richest never had it so good. Just 1% of the US population owns more than 50% of all the shares on the stock market. But what's the real cause of this crisis? It's the unchecked money printing. It's the unchecked bailouts for the banks. It's the unchecked bailouts for the big corporations. Meanwhile, it's capitalism for the poor and socialism for the rich. Look at this chart, everyone. This is the money supply in America. We can see here in the 80s, it hit 1.5 trillion. In the 2000s, it hit about 4.5 trillion. Then they started this huge money printing scheme after the 2008 financial crisis. The US economy did not really recover from 2008. We can see here they just printed and printed and printed. And now there is over $21 trillion of money circulating, or M2 money supply, and it's only going to get worse from here. So you need to wake up and protect yourself right now. And what's traditionally been a safe haven asset during times of economic volatility? Well, that's gold and silver. And look at this leaked report, what China is doing right now. So this is absolutely insane, everyone. Look at this. China secretly buying up massive amounts of gold, 10 times more than officially reported, according to Goldman Sachs. And why are they doing this? Because they know fiat currency is failing. They know real wealth is gold and silver, and they don't want to make the price go up massively. They don't want competition in the market, so they're severely underreporting how much gold they're really buying. But gold has gone up a lot in 2024, and an asset that I think is severely undervalued is silver. Now, silver had a meltdown end to 2024. Silver is down 18% since October 22nd, and the GDXU 3-time leverage ETF is down 60% in less than 60 trading days. So this is officially a severe correction, and the technical analysis points towards extreme negative sentiment, which is usually followed by a roaring comeback. Think about it this way. The prevailing narrative of Wall Street, which Jerome Powell talked about in December meeting, is that tariffs are a giant unknown, even though we've had years to prepare and adjust for this moment. And the dollar is surging right now into a multi-decade high, and markets are pricing in only one rate cut by the Fed for 2025, which is a major opportunity. And that's why I'm issuing my most important silver announcement of the decade. 9 analysts, all with buy ratings, are covering this one. Wall Street stalwart Franklin Templeton, as well as Sprott Inc. and billionaire investor Eric Sprott are all shareholders of my sponsor for today's video. And this silver company is listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and I think it's severely undervalued. Because I don't want you to miss out, and I want you to understand the true potential and upside and the very high likelihood that I'm correct in reaching the conclusion that today's video sponsor, that's VZLA Silver, ticker symbol VZLA, could be a significant story in the silver sector. Because look at this chart here. Analysts covering this stock are all issuing buy ratings with targets ranging from $3 USD to $4.50 USD, as you can see on the screen. And I'm here to tell you that the critical and crucial near-term catalyst for VZLA Silver could be coming in 2025, as you can see in this slide. Now, don't dismiss or ignore this next part. In 120 seconds or less, I'll lay out the bullish thesis so you can then research VZLA Silver for yourself, a company whose holders include Eric Sprott, Sprott Inc., and Wall Street giant, a $1 trillion plus asset management behemoth, Franklin Templeton. Because look at this, their confidence in VZLA speaks volumes, and this is what they're looking at. When analyzing Penteco's silver/gold project, the world-class asset at the heart of VZLA's success in Mexico. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, this is no ordinary deposit. It's a crown jewel, and with potential to become one of the world's top 10 silver producing mines. Targeted to commence production in 2027, Penteco's economics are exceptional. The company intends to make a production decision only following release of a positive feasibility study. With estimated all-in sustaining cost of just $9.40 per ounce based on recent preliminary economic assessment compared to the industrial average of $17.56, VZLA Silver is positioned as a low-cost leader in the space. Now, there is no certainty that the results of the preliminary economic assessment will be realized. As VZLA advances towards a production decision, this valuation gap is bound to close. The 2025 catalysts are nearing, and if management is able to make a production decision, what I refer to as the RE rating moment, this could become likely. Now, Mexico, where Penteco project is located, is the world's top silver producing country, and VZLA's well-funded $90 million plus treasury ensures it's perfectly positioned to capitalize on the opportunity. Now again, VZLA Silver, that's VZLA, is not just some ordinary silver stock. Unbeatable institutional backing, low estimated production costs, and world-class Penteco project represent, in my book, significant unparalleled upside potential. So the stock trades around $1.70, and as I record this, these are the analyst names, ratings, all buy, as you can see the charts above. Now, there is no other silver project of that scale, size, and near-term production timeline that's even remotely comparable. Seriously, if you understand VZLA Silver like I do, the risk is in staying indifferent to this, if you ask me. So I know that's a lot to take in, so let's recap in bullet points on the simple reasons why I'm bullish. So number one, adjusted for inflation, silver is trading significantly below its all-time highs from nearly 50 years ago, and this might be the ideal time to consider high potential silver stocks like VZLA Silver. Number two, VZLA Silver boasts endorsements from multiple analysts with all buy ratings. Their lowest target price of USD $3 represents a 66% upside from its current price of around $1.80 USD. Third, VZLA's flagship asset, the Penteco Silver Gold Project in Mexico, is a potential game changer. Targeted to commence silver production in 2027, Penteco is set to become one of the world's top 10 silver producing mines. And this company intends to make a production decision only following release of a positive feasibility study. So everyone, I really do genuinely believe in this company. I think silver has huge potential, so start doing your research on this company today. But everyone, what do you think will happen to the economy, to the housing market, gold and silver in 2025? Drop your predictions below. Now, for all my loyal viewers and subscribers still watching, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.